Good morning, students. Let's continue with our lesson. The part of him that would be seen above the table would look all right. The waiter would bring him what he asked for. Began thinking of what he would like to eat. In his mind, he could see the whole dinner. The cost would be not too high. He did not want the restaurant people to feel any real anger. But the dinner would leave him filled and happy for the journey to his winter home. But as Soapy put his foot inside the restaurant door, the head waiter saw his broken old shoes and the torn clothes that covered his leg. Strong and ready hands turned Soapy around and moved him quietly and quickly outside again. Soapy turned off Broadway. It seemed that this most easy way to the island was not to be his. He must think of some other way of getting there. At a corner of 6th Avenue was a shop with a wide glass window, bright with electric lights. Soapy picked up a big stone and threw it through the glass. People came running around the corner. A cop was the first among them. So Soapy stood still and he smiled when he saw the cop. So now here, Soapy reached a restaurant, a bright lighted restaurant. Okay, and he had everything in his mind that what he's going to eat. Now, as he put his foot inside the door, the head waiter saw his broken old shoes and clothes. So now what did they do? They send him out. Now Soapy turned his way towards Broadway. Now he thought that this is not going to be an easy task. So he thought the other way was in this corner of the 6th Avenue shop. 6th Avenue, there was a shop with a wide glass window. It was very bright with electric lights. So what did he do? He picked up a big stone and threw it on the glass. Okay, Soapy picked up a big stone and he threw it on the glass. So people came running around the corner. Everyone was shocked. What happened? And so the first one who came was a cop. Okay, a cop is a police. So Soapy stood still. He was standing quietly. He was still in one place. Right, now moving on. Where's the man that did that? Asked the cop. Don't you think that I might have done it? Said Soapy. He was friendly and happy. What he wanted was coming towards him, but the cop's mind would not consider Soapy. Men who break windows do not stop there to talk to cops. They run fast as they can. The cop saw a man further along the street, running. He ran after him, and Soapy, sick at heart, walked slowly away. He had failed 2 times. Across the street was another restaurant. It was not so fine as the one on Broadway. The people who went there were not so rich. Its food was not so good. Into this Soapy took his old shoes and his torn clothes, and no one stopped him. He sat down at a table and was eating a big dinner. Now, the second chance that he tried was to hit a big stone on the glass window so that the cop will come and arrest him. But that also failed miserably. When the cop came, he was standing still and he said, when the cop asked also who did it, so he said, I did it. So cop was also in a big confusion that the man who is going to hit on the glass window will not stand still. He will run away as fast as he can. So this chance also failed. Now he went across the street. There was another restaurant. Okay, and it was not fine as the one he saw on the Broadway where he couldn't enter inside. So the people who entered this restaurant were not so rich. Okay, it was not so good food like in that one. And so he went inside the restaurant and had his food. And he's going to have a big dinner. Now let's see. When he had finished, he said that he had no money. Get busy and call a cop, said Soapy, and don't keep a gentleman waiting. No cop for you, said the waiter. He called another waiter. The two waiters threw Soapy upon his left ear on the hard street outside. He stood up slowly, one part at a time, and beat the dust from his clothes. Prison seemed only a happy dream. The island seemed very far away. A cop was standing near and laughed and walked away. Soapy started moving again. When he stopped, he was near several theatres. In this part of the city, streets are brighter and hearts are more joyful than in other parts. Women and men in rich warm coats moved happily in the winter air. A sudden fear caught Soapy. No cop was going to arrest him. Soapy had his dinner, and when the waiter comes for the bill, he said, I have no money, you call the cop. And so what happens is, get busy and call a cop, said Soapy. Don't keep a gentleman waiting. He was asking for the cop to be called. So the waiter said, no cop for you, said the waiter. He called another waiter and they threw him out of the restaurant. So he stood up slowly and one part at a time, he just dusted his clothes. So now he was thinking that prison is only a dream from him because two of his chances got failed. So that island seemed very far away. Okay, the prison. So a cop was standing near, laughed and walked away. There was a cop standing beside him. He laughed and walked away. Soapy started moving again. When he started moving again, what he saw, he was near several theaters. In those streets, no, there were several theaters. So streets are brighter and hearts are more joyful than in other parts. So women and men were in rich warm coats, and so it was a happy winter time. Now a sudden fear came inside his mind that no cop was going to arrest him. This came in his mind that I am not going to be arrested by the cop, and this was a bit scary because he was having a doubt, right? So now, then Soapy tries his luck twice again, but cops remain indifferent as ever. Soapy is suddenly reminded of his childhood home and mother and resolves to turn over a new leaf. Feeling a hand on his arm, Soapy turns around to see the broad face of a cop. He was standing in just proximity of the cop, means very near to him. Then he came to another cop standing in front of a big theater. He thought of something else to try. Now he thought he's going to try another time to go inside the prison. So he began to shout as if he had too much to drink, that he started to behave as if he was drunk. His voice was as loud as he could make it. He danced, he cried out. And the cop turned his back to Soapy. When he was making all these sounds, the cop turned his back and saw him and said to a man standing near me, "It is one of those college boys," the cop said. "He won't hurt anything. We have orders to let them shout." Now this chance also went in vain. Soapy was quiet. Was Nuko going to touch him? He began to think of the island as if it was far away as a star. He pulled his thin coat around him, buying a newspaper. The man's umbrella stood beside the door. Now he saw one man, another idea strike him, and he saw one man buying a newspaper. And he saw that man's umbrella stood beside the door. Soapy stepped inside the shop, took the umbrella and walked slowly. Now he took the umbrella and started walking. The man followed him quickly. "My umbrella," he said. "Oh, is it?" said Soapy. "Why don't you call a cop now? There's one standing at the corner." The man walked more slowly. Soapy did the same. Now he said, "Why don't you call a cop? There's one standing at the corner." He told that person whose umbrella was it. So the man started walking slowly. Soapy did the same. They both were walking very slowly. Okay, now see. He had a feeling that he was going to fall again. The cop looked at the two men. "I," said the umbrella man, "that is, you know how these things happen? If that's your umbrella, I am very sorry. I found it in this morning in a restaurant. If you say it's yours, I hope you'll." "It's mine," cried Soapy with anger in his voice. The umbrella man hurried away. The cop helped a lady across the street. Soapy walked east. He threw his umbrella as far as he could throw it. He talked to himself about cops and what he thought of them, because he wished to be arrested. They seemed to believe he was like a king who could do no wrong. Okay. At last, Soapy came to one of the quiet streets on the side of the city. He turned here and began to walk south toward Madison Square, from where he started. He was going home, although home was only a seat in a park. But at a very quiet corner, Soapy stopped. Here was his old childhood home. Through one window, he could see a soft light shining. That had been his living room, where he had spent many happy, peaceful moments. Sweet music came to Soapy's ears and seemed to hold him there. The moon was above, peaceful and bright. There were few people passing. He could hear birds high above him, and the music that came from the room held Soapy there, for he had known it well long ago. In those days, his life contained such things as mothers and flowers and high hopes and friends and clean thoughts and clean clothes. There was a sudden and wonderful change in his soul. He saw with sick fear how he had fallen. He saw his worthless days, his wrong desires, his dead hopes, the lost power of his mind. And also, in a moment, his heart answered this change in his soul. He would fight to change his life. He would pull himself up out of the mud. He would make a man of himself again. The umbrella man was in a hurry, okay, because the umbrella was not his also, and so he was hurrying too much because he wanted to go. Now the cop was helping the ladies across the street, and now Soapy thought that he cannot go to the prison, so he started walking towards east and he threw the umbrella. Then, while he was going to the quiet streets towards the Madison Square, he turned and started walking south. Okay, now he was going home because he started his journey. One window, Soapy could see the bright light shining. Okay, and he was reminiscing those beautiful, happy moments. And one soft music came into his ears, and he was stalled. Means he was just amazed to hear that. And so the moon was above. It was a peaceful ambience, and everything was so bright. So he could see the birds also, the music also coming from that living room, and it was that same living room where he used to live. Okay, and he had such fond memories of his mother and friends and everyone. He used to wear clean clothes. Clean thoughts came in his mind, and so there was a change in his soul. And he was thinking why he had such a major fall, why he fell into these wrong desires, these dead hopes, and he lost his mind, his ability to think. So for a moment his heart answered everything and he changed. Now he decided to change everything in that moment, and so he pulled himself up out of the mud, and he thought he's going to make a man of himself. He's going to change his soul, and he's going to change everything. Now children, this was part 2. I will be uploading one more part along with the summary of the entire lesson. Till then, you all please read the lesson very nicely, practice reading, try to understand. If there are any doubts, you can ask me. Till then, stay home, stay safe.